everyone. If I could just have your attention for a minute. As a nonprofit corporation, we're required to have an annual membership meeting of our members. And we do that at the conference every year. And we found that if we had lunch somewhere else and just asked for everyone to come in here, then nobody would be in here, and it'd just be us talking to ourselves. So we got a little smarter, and asked you to bring your box lunches in. So if you would, we have a few things to present to you here on our agenda, and so if you can listen to us, we'd appreciate it. We'll fulfill our legal requirements and anything you have for us, and you'll learn a bit more about the society. So the first item is approval of the agenda. Is anyone aware of anything we need to add to our agenda for this afternoon? Seeing none, then we will move on to the Secretary's report. And the Secretary's report consists of the minutes from our last meeting, which would have been in Boston. Those have been handed out at your tables. And this is a matter that we do need to vote on. So would someone like to make a motion? Okay, we've got a motion. I need a second. Got a second over here. Any further discussion, any corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion passes. All right, the next item is the Treasurer's report. I'm going to invite Tom, our Treasurer, to come up and present that.
Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Tom Jandowski, and I've been the treasurer for the Society for the past 3 years. I'm going to give you a brief overview of our financial situation, financial report for 2012. Some highlights for 2012. We finished the 2012 financial audit. We completed that in May of this past year, and also the IRS 990 for the year ending 2012. And we continued our diversification policy of taking our available funds and investing them in CDs through the Merrill Lynch organization, and we tried to keep all of our investments within the $250,000 FDIC limit for insurance purposes. And we also have an endowment fund, and that we invest in government and corporate bonds with the assistance now of a newly created investment committee. I'll talk about that in just a second. Our investment policies have been very conservative, and so we invest in CDs and corporate bonds and government securities. For our financial position, year ending December 31st, 2012, we had cash of $343,000, certificates of deposit or CDs of about $1.2 million, contributions receivable of $24,000, prepaid expenses of $9,600, property and equipment of $3,000, and long-term investments in our investment funds of $1,025,000, for a total of total assets of $2,599,000. For accounts payable, we had $13,680, and we had in our unrestricted net assets $908,000. For temporary restricted, $676,000. That's for our research funds, and our permanently restricted funds are $1 million. So total net assets are $2,585,000, and when we add the accounts payable and the liabilities and the net assets, they have to equal the total assets, and they do. It's $2,599,000. Taking a quick look at our revenue that came in for 2012, we brought in $1,100,000. And the big part of that was your efforts in fundraising. That amounted to 46% at $510,000. We had conference income to support our conferences like you're having today That came in at around $200,000. Our membership dues, which is a little bit smaller, it's $30,000 a year, and we had investment income down here at $46,000. General donations, $114,000. We had family assistance donations of $46,000, right here, and research donations of $86,000. On the expense side, we had $1,275,000 in total expenses for 2012. And basically, our expenses there, we had, the big one here is research grants, $291,000. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Direct fundraising expenses of $73,000. Had staff and office there at $267,000. Our conferences, $320,000. Our newsletters, we had down here $112,000, and direct family assistance, $74,000, totaling about $1,275,000. Some additional financial notes. Our income was down about 2% from the prior year. Expenses were up a little bit at 6%. The conference expenses were, our Boston conference was expensive, higher than some of our others. The net assets decreased about 6% from the prior year. Our annual fund was the most successful to date at $116,000. We funded $291,000 in research grants. We had approved, the board had approved $512,000. However, there was a UK MPS 3 grant which did not get funded in 2012, and it will be funded, part of it will be funded in 2013. We had fundraising of $511,000. That was down from 2011 by about 18%. And again, that represents about 46% of our income coming in. For research grants, direct family support, conferences, and education, that amounts to about 63% of our total expenses for the year. 2012 accomplishments. In May of 2013, this year, we completed the IRS 990 and our financial audit, and we continued to build our CD investment ladder quarterly for cash flow requirements. And we established an investment committee led by Jerry Todd. Jerry is a financial advisor, so we're really lucky to have someone on our staff, not staff, he's now a new board member. As I said here, we invest conservatively in bonds and CDs, and that's more for cash preservation and some interest income. But we're looking at, with the investment committee, looking at some different investment vehicles that will help us to get some better returns. The 2013 highlights this year and some goals. Due to continual decrease over the years in our walk-run program, which has been the main source of our research funding for research, we moved some funds from unrestricted to research in order to keep research funding at the same level. And we moved dollars from the General Research Fund to MPS 1, MPS 2, 4, and 6 to help maximize our available funds for additional MPS research grants. Another highlight here was we received a planned gift of $94,000 from a member. Gift was used for respite and family support programs. And again, as I mentioned, we're exploring additional investment vehicles with the guidance of the newly formed investment committee. Do you want to ask for questions? If anyone has any questions. Okay, thank you.
Just one comment on the investment report. You know, you see the dollars, it may look like a lot of money, that there's $2 million in the bank. And just to reflect on that, you know, over $1 million of that is an endowment, the purpose of which is to generate earnings to fund the society, and that's why that million is there. And then the balance of it, much of it is the research funds that comes in the door, and then we wait till the next year to spend it. So it's not that we're hoarding cash or anything like that, because we want to invest. We want to spend as much money as we can to cure our kids, and that's what we're all about. So the treasurer's report, we do need to have a motion for acceptance. We've got a motion. We've got a second here. Any further questions on that? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Okay, now we're going to move into our committee reports, and I'm going to ask each of the chairs just to come up when it's your turn based on the agenda, and then just ask for questions at the end of your report, and there will be no more voting on those items. We'll start with education publicity.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kim Whitecotton. Is that report going to come up here next? And I am the chair for the Education Publicity Committee as well as the secretary for the MPS Society. So I'm just going to go through briefly what we have done this year. Our job on this committee is to keep our members informed of what's going on, and our health providers as far as everything in your library, the MPS library on the website, and your Courage that you get quarterly, the Courage report. So I'm just going to go through here and tell you what we've been doing. Hopefully everybody looked in their bag at registration about the wonderful DVD that we have done for this year. We've got 3 parts, that DVD, and currently, well, I'll put that in the current, but so we've completed that video, which is, it's a great video. I hope when you all get home that you take a look at it. As always, this year, we always help in promoting the MPS Awareness Day, which is May 15th. We've done that by launching a contest on Facebook. I don't know if everybody's aware of that, but we've done that now for 3 years, and it's a great contest. As our committee, we want to also make sure we recognize our researchers, so we individually send out letters, thank you letters to our researchers and our advisory board for thanking them for all their hard work for what they do for our children. And I think most of you had maybe probably received those MPS Awareness Day cards that you could give out on MPS Awareness Day. It's what is MPS. We also completed projects. We've done the 3 Courages so far, which were the spring, the summer, and the fall Courage magazines. We also did the publication for Angels Among Us. We also try to keep our library of the fact sheets updated for you and put new ones in there if we hear somebody looking for certain fact sheets. So this year we had to update the travel fact sheet, the physical therapy fact sheet, and a transplant fact sheet. And we also are responsible for getting the presentations that are videotaped here at the conference onto the website, which we uploaded all of Boston's presentations. And these presentations are being recorded, and hopefully these are all going to be uploaded for you to view again if you want to go back to look at them by the end of next month. My report. Let's see, I know I had more in here. Just one moment. Yeah, it's not going. Sorry about that. The current projects we have in process are working on the 4th, and it'll be a short video to the 3 that you received, just highlighting our work with legislation. We're working on the Winter Courage currently, and we are updating, they're in the process of being updated, a donation fact sheet. So when you're out there asking your friends and families and whoever for donations, you can just hand them over a sheet and they can learn quickly about how to donate. We are working on the publicity of our rollout next year of our 40th gala. Next year will be MPS Society's 40th year. And we are currently and always looking at ways to keep our website up and running and current. And as a committee, we meet via conference call once a month. So we do that every month. And that's it. Anybody have any questions? No? Okay, thank you all.
Hi, I'm Chris Klinke, and I chair the Family Support Committee. And this is a list of all of the members that are on our committee. Most of them are board members, but we do have some members at large that serve on this committee as well. Our committee is responsible for taking care of all the family support programs that we have through the society, and this is a list of all of them. I'm going to go through each of them a little more in depth. First, we'll start with the Medical Travel Assistance Program. This is actually our newest program. This one kicked off in 2011, and you'll find all of the guidelines for all of these programs and the applications on our website. Many of our programs, actually the 3 listed on this page, we still have funding left for 2013. So keep that in mind if your family or if you're an affected individual, you have a need, that each of these programs, there's still funds available left for this year. Our medical travel is for individuals and families who need to travel away from home. They can request funding from us to help support their travel. So far in 2013, we've received 16 applications have been approved, so a little over $6,000 has been awarded. Extraordinary Experiences. This program is for affected individuals, 13 and older. I've got some examples of extraordinary experiences that we've awarded this year. Oftentimes it's a special trip that an individual wants to take. We have this year paid for driving lessons. In the past, we've done a high school class ring, just all sorts of things. In 2013, we've had 6 applications approved, and we've awarded a little over $4,000 in that program. Our Family Assistance Program is one of our oldest programs. That is for durable medical equipment. A family or individual can request up to $3,000 per year, and that would be for medical equipment not covered by insurance. 2013, we've done 6 applications, and almost $7,000 has been awarded. The awards made this year are listed. We've done a medical scooter, the car carrier, a home ramp, bicycle stroller, adaptive stroller. In the past, we've done things like hearing aids. I'm drawing a blank. I think we've done adaptive type bikes, things like that. So again, keep it in mind if your family or you're an individual and you have a need, these three programs do have funds available yet. We also have our Continuing Education Scholarship Program, and this is for individuals affected with MPS or related disorders, their siblings, or even children of affected individuals. We increased our funding this year. We were able to award 28 $1,000 scholarships this year. And we started a new online platform where individuals, the guidelines and application is on the website, but the individual can complete all of that online as well. That worked really well for us. We did the same thing for our conference registration this year. We were able to use that online platform. Conference scholarships. In 2013, we were able to award 13 scholarships for this conference in San Antonio. So it was about $12,000 that we were able to help fund individuals and families to get here to this conference. We also have a social gathering program. This program, so far we've had 3 events held in places like New York, Kentucky, and Ohio this year, but this would be anybody in our membership. If they want to have some type of gathering, we know how important it is. A lot of our families like to do the socialization thing at these conferences, so you can request funds if you want to have, I mean, obviously it doesn't have to be anything as big as this, but just, you know, a small gathering at a restaurant or like a community center or something. We can help you fund if there's a cost for that room or some of the food or whatever. Things that our committee is working on, I've got listed these in-memory car decals. It's just something our committee would like to present at some point that families could take advantage of. And then a few reminders. Our next conference in 2014 will be at Disney. That information is in your conference brochure. And then in 2015, our conference will be in Salt Lake City. And more information will be available about that later. And also, every other year, we typically do a Cycle and Spirit conference. Cycle stands for Celebrating Your Child's Life Experiences. This program encompasses our bereavement programs for our families. So we typically do a one-day conference every other year for bereaved families. So we should be doing that next year, as well as a Spirit conference, and that is for young adults affected with MPS and related diseases. It's also, usually they're held both together after the conference. It's a one-day event. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mary Ellen Pendleton, and I'm the chairperson of the Fundraising Committee. And the names listed are encompass board members who are on the Fundraising Committee as well as members at large. You do not have to be a board member to be part of the Fundraising Committee. And these are some of the fundraising activities that have gone on in the last calendar year. The annual fund, these are things we update, the annual fund plan, the fund development. Our ongoing efforts, we support the 2013 walk runs from the development desk, which is Terry Klein. We support and mentor fundraising events. We have utilized the mobile giving with text to give and mobile causes, and there will be more information about that tonight at the banquet as well. We've launched a fundraising toolkit in the members only section on the website. It has lots of great information about how to host many different kinds of fundraisers, you know, questions that you might have. We look at grant proposals for foundations and companies. We write a Courage article quarterly. We do a Between the Issues annually, an annual report. We have event guide updates. A lot of those are on the website. And we also have packets at the fundraising booth if you want a packet that has some DVD information, if you don't want to wait till you get home to look at the website. We do correspondence to hosts of walk runs and fundraising events. We usually write thank you notes, make phone calls, encourage families that have maybe hosted a you might have even gotten a call, you hosted a walk run in the past and haven't done one in a few years. We might make a phone call just to find out if your family might like to do it again or might need some assistance. We have established some 2013 planned gift goals, and we've obtained some planned gifts. And as Tom mentioned, we were very fortunate to receive a $94,000 planned gift this year. We are always recruiting new members for the committee, which, as I said, includes board members and friends of the society. These are some projects that we have completed. You know, a little bit of a repeat of what we've already said, the planned giving goals, the website updates. A lot of the forms are now on the website for walk runs and for local fundraisers. We've relaunched our Adopt a Runner program called Champion a Cure. We have some forms if you want to sign up out at the fundraising booth. We have created a robust online fundraising toolkit for members. We have again received a Charity Navigator 3-star rating by the Charity Navigator group. Our Courage pages, which is another very easy thing that you can do to raise funds in honor of your child. We've raised $36,000 in 1 year with 20 families doing that, so that's great. We've completed a fundraising survey. We had 16% of the membership, and we have our results on the website. We've formed a grant committee to help look at potential grant opportunities. Our annual fund, which is a critical component of our overall fundraising program. The annual fund provides money to programs within the Society's mission, family assistance, operations, legislative advocacy, and scholarships. Last year's annual fund, again, as Tom mentioned, was the highest that we've had in the history of the MPS Society, $117,000. The annual fund is a targeting campaign among our donors who've given to us over the last 5 years. Our chairperson this year for that was Stacy Peters. You all received a letter, and you'll probably be receiving a follow-up letter if you haven't had a chance to make that donation yet to the annual fund. You might even receive a few phone calls, just friendly reminders. Stacy is the mother to Aaron. And this is just a chart of how our monies that we've raised and how they're allocated to to research dollars and money that we've received from other fundraisers. So we're almost at the 600,000 mark for this year, which would be another society record. For our walk-run program, which has been going on about 14 years, this year, the number of walk-runs has been steadily decreasing, and the committee has tried to work very hard to raise those numbers up again or to find other ways to assist general research. That's what the funding goes for that. This year we have 17 walk-runs, and we've had 56 fundraising events to date. And those are just some statistics that go along with that. And these would be sources of income that the Society has during the year, kind of a breakdown of where all of our money comes from, all of your money combined comes from. Okay, and I thank you. And I just would also like to let you know that the logo table is going to close at 2 o'clock. So if you have not made any purchases and you still have some shopping to do, we'll be open till 2 o'clock. And our logo wear supports the Family Support Program. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lisa Todd, and my son Jack has MPS 2. And I am the chair of the Governance Committee, and here are our committee members. We have board of director members as well as a member at large on our committee. In the Governance Committee, our job is to ensure that our board is effective and operating properly, as well as help with the nomination process of our board of directors and the election process. So a few things that we did this year, we started after the conference last year and went through our normal Board of Election and appointment process, and really spent then this last year trying to educate and train the board. So we did a How to Be a Dynamic Board training at our June meeting, and really just all about educating our board and our members on how do we do the best job we can for our membership, and how are we doing what we need to be doing for the good of the society. And to that end, we started a new evaluation process. So we actually go through now, and each of our board of directors is evaluated by the rest of the board and their peers. So we went through that process, as well as a overall board evaluation process. So how do we think we're doing? It was a questionnaire, and then also time to do a self-evaluation and a self-reflection. And so all of our directors participated in that survey, and then we had individual calls in August to go through the results of those evaluations. And so myself and Steve, as the board president, had an individual call with every single director to go over those results and work on feedback and get their feedback as well for the board, It was a really great process, and sometimes feedback can be a little scary. But the good thing is sometimes we're not always good about patting each other on the back. We have amazing directors that do a lot of really great things, and they work very hard, and sometimes we don't always tell each other what a good job you're doing, and it also facilitated that process too, to say, well, people do recognize all the hard work, and then we're all human and we all have things we can improve upon and do better as well. So we're hoping as we continue this process that we will just be better at our volunteer role here. So moving forward, we had just this last fall, in the last couple months, completed the board election and appointment process, and this process consists of discussions with everyone who is considering running for the board, and so there's interview processes, and then you all receive notification of the board election process and have the opportunity to vote for your directors. And then we get back together and we look at that, and we also determine if there's any need for additional appointments. We do have a little bit of flexibility as a board to appoint a few members if necessary. And we've just completed that process. And this coming year, our goal is to continue to follow up on that evaluation process and feedback and development for our board. So we constantly want to improve and operate most effective to cure our kids and again, represent our members in the best way possible. And so we'll continue to evaluate, follow up, and it's a constant process for us. So, any questions? All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Bozarth, and I'm the chair on the Committee on Federal Legislation. And here's a list of our committee members this past year. We do have board of directors, society members, and some of our staff. And we are always looking for new folks to join us on our committee. Basically, what we do is have monthly conference calls. We are always strategizing our advocacy efforts. We all strive to be the society super advocates. That means really participating anytime we're asked. We also spend a lot of time creating and developing relationships with our key decision makers in the government. Our priority projects completed to date is we went to DC this past February. Our entire board of directors went, along with the staff and some of our society members. And as I mentioned in the video before, we met with we had 22 appointments. It lasted over 2 days. It was a very successful event, and everybody that came loved it. And that is actually a perk of being in the committee. You get to do some of these really fun things. This year was an exciting year because we actually decided to award Senator Lindsey Graham for his loyal lead and sponsorship of MPS Awareness Day over the last several years. Sissy Langford came to that. She was actually one of the founders for MPS Awareness Day back in 2006 and has started us moving forward with getting a Senate resolution each year. And Senator Graham has been very helpful with that. So that was exciting to meet the senator there. Some other priority projects that we've completed is I'm sure that you've seen some of my advocacy alerts that have come across with the accelerated approval process. We got over 100 legislators to sign on to make sure that the FDA included rare disease language specifically in the accelerated approval process for the FDA. We also did get our Senate Resolution 142 passed for MPS Awareness Day. Our language is to be included in the appropriations bill. As you know, the government's having a hard time with their budget, so that is still impending, but I'm sure it will be in there. I did this recently, updated our website to include all of our advocacy action alerts. So if you missed an email or you heard about one and you want to still do that, you can go to the legislative section and participate in any advocacy alert. There are some that are constantly happening, like the Rare Disease Caucus, which is asking legislators to join that caucus. And they specifically really highlight the issues for rare disease groups. So it's really exciting to get all of our legislators into that caucus, and we're still trying to grow that. And this year we also had super advocates. These are a list of some of our super advocates, and actually Kim Whitecotton, you are supposed to be at the bottom there, and I don't know why your name's not on there. So Kim was also one of our super advocates this year. That was based on, I went back and looked at a report of folks that had participated in the action alerts and participated in the majority of them, and these are the people that did. Each time it kind of fluctuates how much action I get, but I don't know if you knew that, but I can actually look that up and see how much people are really participating in this process. And it's exciting to see because we have seen an uptick in the advocacy efforts. And I do believe it's probably because it's so easy to do now that we're doing these click and sends and takes seconds. The MPS Society has signed on to several letters of support. And these all are actually on the website. If you want to go in and read any more detail about any of these, you're more than welcome to do that. These groups will put together a letter, and then we sign the bottom of it, and then they send it off to the legislators, and they see all these groups, these rare disease groups that have signed on. Our new priorities for the end of 2013 and going into 2014, which will also include our next advocacy visit in February of 2014, is really addressing the FDA guidelines which lead to offshoring of early phase clinical trials, preventing individuals with MPS and other rare diseases getting early access to U.S. research, innovation, and drug development. This is something that has gone on within the FDA. It's a guideline that they have really strict how they review the process to getting early phase clinical trials here in the U.S. I think y'all have probably seen that there's a pattern of a lot of these trials starting in the UK and Europe, and we can't participate in that. And for us, it takes a couple of years for it to get to phase 3, which finally will come back to the U.S., but 2 years is too long for our kids. So we want to try and change that pattern and move clinical trials back into the U.S. It will mean so much to just our children. Also, our researchers will have first access to that information. It's many different levels. It'll benefit us. So we want to take a hard look at that this coming year, and continue to advocate for incentives for the research to keep moving forward and developing MPS related drugs and life-saving treatments. So I think that's. And then this is a picture of all of us this last February on the Hill. That's it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Barbara Whittahays. I'm the Society's Executive Director, and I'm going to be giving the Technical Committee report on behalf of Clayne White. Every year, at the beginning of the year, the board makes a decision as to what research grants we're going to be offering. Those grants then, those proposals are reviewed by members of our Scientific Advisory Committee. We have a special review committee that reviews those. After their recommendations are made, then those are reviewed by the Technical Committee, which is comprised of members of the board and also some members at large. This year, we offered the following grants: 2 general grants, which were $60,000 each, and for each of these grants, the amount is divided into 2 years because these are typically 2-year grants. We had 1 MPS 2 grant, 1 for MPS 3, 1 for MPS 4, and 1 for MPS 6. For all of those grants, we received 35 letters of intent. The first part of this process is we send out a notice globally about the grants that we're offering, and we request that people send in a 2 to 3 page letter of intent. Our review committee looks at those and then makes determination about what proposals, full proposals we want. And out of those 35 letters of intent, we requested 13 full proposals. We ultimately ended up funding 5 grants. We funded the 2 general, the 1 MPS 2, 1 MPS 3. Because we did not have a strong showing of proposals received that were determined to be of quality, we had a second grant offering in July for the MPS 4 and the MPS 6 grants. It was determined, the board voted in the board meeting just the other day to fund the MPS 4 grant. However, the determination was made not to fund the MPS 6 grant this year because the quality proposals were really not worth spending the money that we had available. So the typical funding period is from July 1st for these grants through June 30th of 2015. The MPS 4 grant will be funding November 1st. So the total amount that we allocated to research funding for this year was $415,000, and then part of that is for the second year grants from 2012. So this is a list of the grants that we funded this year for the 2 general grants. One was for Lachlan Smith at University of Pennsylvania, and this was for MPS 7 work in vertebral bone formation. A second one was a joint grant with Richard Steet and Dwight Coble. Rich is at University of Georgia and Dr. Coble is Duke, and this is adjunctive therapy for Hurler syndrome. The MPS 3 grant was awarded to Dr. Vito Ferrero. He's in Australia, and this was for development of pharmacological chaperone therapy for MPS 2. The MPS 3 grant was awarded to Dr. Jeffrey Esco at the University of California at La Jolla, and this was delivery of sulfamidase to the brain. And then the last grant that we awarded was an MPS 4A grant, and that went to Dr. Adriana Montano at St. Louis University, and this was for manifestations of cardiovascular disease in MPS 4A. In addition to these grants, we had some other funding. We funded $25,000 to the Lysosomal Disease Network for their neuroimaging core that benefits 4 MPS projects. The Lysosomal Disease Network is a consortium of researchers and clinicians who support, I think it's about 17 different projects, and this has been a 5-year NIH grant for a total of between $5 and $6 million, and we're very pleased that we're able to support the grant by funding this neuroimaging core. We also provided $20,000 for an ML partnership grant with ISMRD. We funded $10,000 for another partnership grant with the Ryan Foundation, and this went to Dr. Elsa Shapiro at the University of Minnesota for her work in longitudinal studies of brain structure and function in MPS diseases. And this was also part of her work as part of the LDN grant. And then another thing that we do with our research money is to help support young researchers so that they will be encouraged to get involved with MPS research. So we provided travel funding for fellows and postdocs to attend the gene therapy meeting this year and also the Gordon Conference for lysosomal diseases. Mary Ellen showed this graph, but I think it can't hurt to see it again because we really want to thank you for all that you do for raising money, because this is what obviously supports our research, and as you heard from the 2 excellent talks this morning, things are really moving forward with this. So you can see over a period of time how that money has come in through various fundraisers and through walk runs, and then the amount of funding that we've been able to provide. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Todd. I'm the chairman of the investment committee, along with Jeff, Tom, Steve, Gordon, and Angela, and Austin Knoll that I forgot on the list. So we created the investment committee this year so that we could have a small group of individuals focusing on exactly what we're doing with the 2 main investment accounts. We have the endowment account, which is managed by BlackRock Investment Management, and we have what we call the operating account, which has primarily been invested in CDs over the last few years, just a rolling 3-month CDs. So our goal was to meet quarterly to review both accounts to determine if they were meeting the goals of the society. We determined after looking at both of them that a few changes needed to be made, and those were made within the last couple of weeks. So the first thing we did is BlackRock, who manages the endowment account, based off of a recommendation from our Merrill Lynch advisor, we allowed them to reallocate up to 20% of the funds that they're managing in these 3 different mutual funds. The goal here was to give us a little bit more diversification, reduce our volatility a little bit, but then also help us with our total return staying on a relatively conservative basis. So they just implemented those, I believe, 2 weeks ago. The second thing we did with the operating account, or what we call the CD account a lot of times, is we hired Hanlon Investment Management to manage $250,000 out of that account based on their managed income portfolio. Now, when this portfolio is fully invested, it's invested in 25 to 35 different fixed income mutual funds. The goal there was to try to have a better return than what we were currently receiving on the CD accounts, which is not a lot. We still wanted to make sure that our risk was relatively low. Hanlon manages it in a way to reduce risk at all for whatever they can, and hopefully give us a better return than what we were receiving in the CDs. So that happened, I believe, last week as well. So going forward, we're going to meet quarterly to continue to review these. Our goal is to always make sure that we're finding whatever the best possible thing we can do for the society, which obviously keeping risk low is where our current stance is, and to do whatever we can. Does anyone have any questions? All right.
Okay, thanks committee chairs for doing that for us, giving those presentations. I did want to give our other board members an opportunity to be recognized. So if you did not come up to the podium, here we've got Gordon Wingate from Texas, MPS 3 dad. And who else? We've got Austin Knoll out here from, where did you move? Wisconsin? Where are you now? Yeah, MPS 3. We've got Roy Zagami, another fellow Texan with the MPS 3 son from Dallas area. We've got Don Chakrala from Rhode Island, her MPS 1. And Carrie Dunn is over here, and from New Jersey, MPS 2 mom. And we've got Ann here, Jendowski, MPS 2 mom from Ohio, right? Okay. Anyone else I miss? My wife Amy, who's also on the board, and you saw her earlier walking across the stage. But our daughter Madison is ill, and she's in the room with her. Anyone else I'm missing? We have a couple of, well, I guess 3 board members elect who they're going to take their position on in January, Jerry being one of them. Is Amber here? Here's Amber. I don't know them, MPS 1 mom from California, I think, right? Oregon. And Erica, is Erica here? I don't see Erica. And she is a MPS 2 mom from Colorado. Okay, great. Well, hopefully you've seen a little bit about what the society does. And that's important because you are our members and this is your organization. And so a couple of things. One, if you would ever like to run for the board, we would love for you to do that. We have elections every year, so just watch your mailbox for that. Feel free to talk to any of us, our staff, or any of the existing board members, and find a little bit more about it. And we would, if you just don't want to do that, but you want to serve on a committee, all of the standing committees you see have, most of them have monthly meetings, teleconferences, and it's really not that painful to be on the phone for an hour and move the society goals forward. So we'd encourage you to do that. So at this point, we're open. This is your organization. This is your time. If you have anything you would like to bring before the board, this is your opportunity to do so. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, this is your opportunity. Okay, I don't see anything. So, which is good. We'll take that to mean you're satisfied and you're happy with what we're doing. So we'll continue to do it until we hear otherwise. So this will conclude our membership meeting. As far as our schedule for today, Camp Courage will open in about 10 minutes at 1:45, and then we'll move to our breakout sessions for this afternoon. And those will be going on in 3 locations. One will be in this area. The other one will be where we had breakfast across the hall. That is La Jolla, I don't know how you say that, ballroom. And then the third one is Bolo's, which is just down the hall, just a little bit to the right. Also, there's a sibling breakout for ages 7 to 11 in A and B, which is next door from 2 to 3. So those, we've got 3 of those concurrent sessions, and they're all in your programs. And then when that's over, Camp Courage will close at 5 o'clock, so please pick your kids up. We'll have our banquet at 6 p.m., which will be, again, in this area. And then following our banquet, Camp Courage will open again at 8:30, and then we have the respite rumba, which is going to be across the hall there in that room, and that'll be from 8:30 to 11:30. What's that? La Jolla? Okay, yeah. There you go. That sounds right. Okay, so thank you, everyone, and we stand adjourned.